Hi! Thanks for coming by my channel, and I'm thrilled that you're here. That probably means that you saw the Say Yes to the Deck episode, and now you're here for a walkthrough for the Cute and Creepy Tarot. Glad to have you here. I'm going to try not to gush and to make this take too long, but I'm very excited about this deck, and by the time you see this, I will have had it for almost a month, and it's just fun. It's been hard not to share it. Okay, so when you order this, you have some choices. You get the deck. You don't really have a choice with that. That comes in this just regular old tuck box. They are signed. I didn't keep the wrap on mine, but you could if you wanted to preserve that. And then you have a choice of getting the guidebook, which I did, and I'm glad that I did. I'll tell you why later. And she signs that as well. The third thing you can get, which I did not get, is the coloring book, which I'm sure is a lot of fun. So if you love coloring, I would say, if this is any indication, you're going to love that coloring book. Also, here's what came with this shipment. I got 2 of these, one of which is on my laptop. Then you get these 3 little guys. There she is. I love this one. There's a different version of this in the deck that you'll see. And then there's this one, advertising Misha's services. Then you get some sort of postcard size things. You get, whoops, I take that out. You get this one and this one. Now I'm planning on cutting these and using them in journals or vision board, something. I haven't decided exactly. But this one, I like to use significator cards, but I hate using one from the deck if one hasn't been supplied, because then I think, well, what if that card could have come up in the reading? And it's a bit of a bind for me how to handle that. So what I'm going to do for this deck, I'm going to cut these 4 characters out, and I'm going to use this one. I'm going to put it on this card, and then I can use that as my significator. It won't really make any difference that it's thicker than the other cards because I'm not going to shuffle it. Now, onto the guidebook. So the paper on the guidebook feels a lot like an old coloring book or a paperback book, which is kind of cool because that means that you can color this one if you like. Let me see the page that I started on it so I could show you. So I experimented here. I used what do you call these? The mild liner pens. I tried using this. Right here, it gives you a nice dark color, but it did bleed through on the back a little, so I'm not going to do that. And then I just did some with a colored pencil, and I think that comes out better, and it doesn't bleed through, right? So you're going to be able to do shading and everything. This is really good paper for coloring with colored pencils. Now, I'm super happy that I got this book because it's going to explain some of these characters that you'll see in the deck. I am not fluent enough with the cultural references here, so having this explained is going to be key to getting the most out of this deck. So let's take a look at this guy, for example. So this is the Page of Wands, and when I looked at it in the deck, I thought, oh, it's a phoenix for the Page of Wands. I don't really get that, but get your guidebook, you can see, no, it's not a phoenix, it's a firebird. And the firebird was once a woman. She was turned into a bird by a sorcerer who wanted her embroidery skills all to himself. She refused, so he turned her into the firebird. Her free spirit inspired me to use her for this card. Okay, so, you know, somebody who's creative, who was a weaver or a seamstress. Now it makes sense all of a sudden, right? So I really think the guidebook is pretty important to reading this deck and getting the creator's intentions right. Now, about our creator, if I've got this right, She's primarily a tattoo artist. When you go to the website, that you'll see a lot about that, who was interested in the tarot, and so she created this deck. She talks about it a little bit. You can read about it more in the guidebook. So I would say that the images on the deck are not going to be super unique to her and her understanding of the tarot. I mean, it is unique, but she's not presenting herself as a tarot expert. And as you'll see, a lot of these images, most of them are Rider-Waite-Smith. A lot of that kind of imagery is translated into this style. Now, let's talk about the deck. So the deck comes in this tuck box. It's just a standard tuck box, except that it does have the autograph, of course. And the cardstock. Now, the cardstock to me basically feels like the weight of the card. I'm not an expert of this at all, but it sort of feels like a regular playing card stock to me. So, for example, I can't really shuffle these big, thick decks. Oh, don't shuffle it, otherwise it won't be in order. I can't really shuffle them because my hands, I can't really do it. So I do a lot of hand over hand, right? I'm not going to do that either. But these you could. I do. So that's sort of nice for me, personally. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the deck. So here's our majors. I'm going to try not to talk too much. But you can see how she uses a lot of the traditional symbols that you would expect on an RWS deck are here. Some of the backgrounds are simpler, but she has used some of the colors. There's that page I was coloring a little bit. I always like to look at these two together in a deck. So that's not a perfect pair, is it? But we get the meanings for sure. I do like this Hierophant. Look how cute. He's not too creepy though. But see, he's got, like, some of the imagery is very traditional, but he's not like a straight up Pope, which I appreciate. I think this is going to be a really popular card with people, the lovers, with Frankenstein's monster and his bride. And they are cute and creepy, right? They're not scary. You gotta love this. Baba Yaga riding her hut as the chariot and the eyeballs hanging off the side. There's a lot of fun things to look at here. This strength card may be one of the most unique and fun strength cards I've ever had. I just love it. So this creature, this monster, he protects, she, I'm not sure. They protect dreams, bad dreams. So in a way, the strength is changed a little bit from a traditional reading, but the intent of strength is still there. Look how cute that hermit is. So here's an example where we would expect a lot of symbols or something in the wheel, and we don't get that. You kind of have to know what you're looking at. So sometimes there are some things about this deck that seem a little minimal. So I think having some knowledge, like I wouldn't use this as a beginner deck if I was trying to learn for the first time. How great is this as a hanged man? And death with the butterflies and the skull, and look, see how we've got the chrysalis in the jar. I love this death card. Not at all what we expect to see, but beautiful, just beautiful. Well, when I say expect to see, I just mean if you think about an RWS death card. And I think this Temperance is interesting because it's a darker figure. And the Devil, so I've got questions about this Devil card because this person in here, sorry, I banged the camera. Like here we have a really closed cage. We don't even have a door, right? So yeah, that's different. I love the material of the tower, how the material that she's made of, it seems to be the same material that the tower is made of, and it's starting to happen there. Star is beautiful. One of my favorite cards of any deck. I like the moon. Like, I think she must be some kind of werewolf type character. And how fun is this? The sun is not just one person. Judgment. I like the idea of the riddles, that you would go to a sphinx to have to answer the riddles. How that is a form of judgment. Nice reference there. So beautiful. Oh, and now here, let's look at this for a second, because we want to talk about that in terms of the back of the cards. So here's how she's done the elements. And if you look on the back of the cards, you'll see that the elements are there as well, right? We've got water, fire, air, and flowers for earth, with her little logo-y kind of thing here in the middle. So it's not reversible. Doesn't make any difference to me, but if you kind of, you know, squinted, you wouldn't really see it. Here, let's make it be blurry. See? If you didn't look at it carefully, you could use it kind of reversed if you didn't look. All right. Now onto our suits. So when I first looked at this online, I thought the suits were going to be really pippish, but there is enough imagery that they aren't all. Some are, but not all of them. Like this is not. We've got plenty of story here. I'm not going to spoil it for you. When you read the guidebook, you'll see what's going on. But she does have two mouths. I'll tell you that much. Oddly enough, this card is frequently extremely creepy and disturbing to me, but in this book, not so much. I can handle it. Love this Four of Swords. Love the Five of Swords. Swords, not my favorite suit, but in this deck, the cute and creepy version, I'm there for it. She's so sneaky. Love it. That Medusa hair. And I like this. This is a sort of hopeful Ten of Swords, isn't it? I mean, she's got a lot of knives, but she's still standing. That's not going to finish her off. No, sir. Okay, I'm going to put this down so we can talk about the court cards a little bit. So sometimes you'll see the court cards really sort of hang together like a family, and sometimes they don't. Right, so these guys, not so much. I challenge you not to hear the Disney song when you see that card. Haha. I'm not going to be able to. Okay, enough of that. Keep going. Isn't this beautiful? This is, when I look at a new deck, this is one of the first cards I look for. And I like this one very much. Look at these guys. The Two of Cups, they're mummies. That looks like a party, right? These cup cards, I feel like, are very playful. There she is. Look at this family. So here the court cards aren't really a family, right? Like those two. That's a mixed marriage. And here's our pentacles. Yeah, so here's one where she really does look all alone out in the wilderness. So, yeah. How cute are they? Oh my goodness. Love this guy. Okay, now these two are paired, right? So that's kind of an interesting thing, a little inconsistent, but doesn't trouble me. They're so much fun, these cards. Look at those eyes. Oh wait, we'll go back to this for a second. So I think this is a trophy, which that's kind of a fun way of doing the Six of Wands. Oh my gosh, that is cute and creepy. And I love how the fire, it's so consistently, stylistically consistent throughout this suit. Well, through the whole deck, really. There's that firebird I talked about from the guidebook. And these two. All right, so now I guess I could try to shuffle this. So nah, I'm not gonna bother. It doesn't make any difference. Take my word for it, you can shuffle it just fine. Now, how am I going to pair these? This is something else that I care about. Oh, also, note the glittery gold edging. So I have used this enough that I can tell you it's not coming off on my hands. I don't know how it's going to hold up long term, but short term, it's great. So I do care that I can pair my decks with things. So that actually factored into picking this deck. So what am I going to pair it with? So this is a playing card deck, and I have a dickens of a time getting the box open. Come on, box. It's based on Kiki's Delivery Service. So I think this one is going to work just fine. Both the backs stay and the fronts. So we'll do a little Dawn Michelle type flip. So I use this sort of as an oracle card, and if you know the story, then you recognize the little frames and they tell you something from the story. You could see, you know, you can read something into that. So unshuffled deck here, but just showing you how the images kind of work, right? The style works. So that is one deck that I'm going to try pairing it with. Another deck that I am going to try, I'm not sure how it's going to work out. All right, I think I will shuffle this so we at least get some random stuff. So I'm not a good shuffler, so you can see that's an easy deck to work with. Is this the 5-cent tarot? All right, so the backs, fine there, no problems. Now the fronts, aesthetically, I'm not sure about this. However, I think that the way the cards read somehow makes sense to me that they would pair. And on that one, the colors work even. And this is a deck that I can read reverse because of these fabulous keywords. But somehow the way these images are, they're a little creepy, a little kooky, this Madame Clara stuff. So I can see working with these together, even though the art style is different, significantly different. All right, so that's one. Okay, now one where the art style is pretty similar, but it's another tarot deck. I don't often pair tarot with tarot, but I might try it here in this case, is this one, the Witchling Academy Tarot. So here's how our backs look. Whoops, how am I going to do this? Do it this way. And here's how the images look together. I'm going to turn this around. So this might work. I'll see. We'll give it a try. And then the last one, and this is what I've been using this week, and I'm very happy with it, is the Forest Fae. Now the Forest Fae doesn't have that many cards in it. It's a relatively small deck, both in terms of size as well as the number of cards. So the back's not great, but not bad either. So now we'll see how the cards look together. I think the cards look fun together. Just do a couple. So that one came out nice, right? See how these sort of work. This is the Mandrake Spirit. So I've been working with these together, and I've been pretty happy with the way the two of those work together. So put that to the side, and if you come up with a pairing that you think is fabulous, I invite you, or even not so fabulous, but it didn't work, any kind of pairing information that you can share, I'd appreciate it, because I do love that. So that's the cute and creepy tarot. I'm super, super happy with this deck. It really fills a gap in my collection, and since my collection is a completely working collection, it's important that I can use it, and I can use it. Very happy with this. Thanks for coming by and taking a look at this deck. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you are doing well, and that the path that you are on is one that's bringing you growth and joy and happiness, and the kinds of challenges that lead to more growth. Take care, be well, and leave a comment below. And if you're in the mood for it, hit the like button. I would really appreciate that, and subscribe if you're interested. Thanks. Bye.